be in the gold lane.
Wow.
Is it?
I think so. I mean, we have seen this coming from Nino.
Nino, right?
So, not too surprising. But the fact that they have no marksman, where the gold lane marksman has been so critical, is a very bold move. Direwolf will be the last pick for Bigetron Alpha right now. And that is a strong laner, especially against the tankier laners that are kind of meta right now.
My oh my.
Wow, I mean,
Dira,
very interesting picks.
I do like it. I like where this is headed. This is very interesting. So we have our official lineups here from both Alter Ego as well as Bigetron. And I gotta say, I like Bigetron's better in a way. I like the CC coming in from Atlas. If he is able to get that Fatal Link on time, in time, at the right moment, the follow-up can be there. But what are your thoughts, Arashi?
For me, I must say that the composition from Bigetron is a lot more flexible and has a lot more chances for success. So I like that. But keep in mind that if Alter Ego can get rolling, right, they have all the tools to end this game before it gets to that late game, where the Yve and the Beatrix can actually have a lot more impact.
Okay, but what about you, Mirko?
Yeah, I mean, personally for me, I completely agree with you. You know, they picked up the Atlas for a reason. They saw that there were so many melee heroes, and they ended it up with a melee hero.
Okay, we're gonna see who has the better draft, who has the better lineup, who has the better implementation in-game as we're going straight into game number 2 between Alter Ego Esports as well as Bigetron. Can Alter Ego Esports force a game number 3, or will it be Bigetron winning it 2-0?
Well,
They
right
were
now,
already denying, forcing Max to actually use that retribution, actually.
we expect winning lanes when we're seeing Alter Ego here with the Yu Zhong and even the Khalid in the bottom side. So far, they have been able to create pressure on these side lanes to basically bully Max, but so far, Max has been doing a really good job, although there is one thing that I don't really like when I'm playing Lancelot, is to go with the Demon Slayer emblem. He went for the Demon Slayer emblem, no killing spree, so in fights, he's so vulnerable to the damage.
Oh, so much damage has been placed, and something that I would like to highlight, but wait a minute, he is actually getting chunked, and Leo Murphy, understanding how much damage he can actually produce onto him, is going to put a little sticker, so already some heat here between the players.
Absolutely, and again, this game is, I think, we literally got the same story, Arashi. Alter Ego, they need to look for a snowball with the early game composition that they have. If they don't, Bigetron Alpha are going to pull the trigger in the 8th minute or maybe the 9th minute of the game.
Well, again, right now, it's all in the hands of Sally Boy as well as Leo Murphy, but will that be enough? That is the question. If they get rolling, these are two heroes that are very tanky. They can do a lot of damage to the squishies, but Sally Boy...
Oh, but Sally Boy does go in and does a lot of damage, but Key is actually going to be the one to go down first. Leo Murphy might be next, but it actually will be Key as well as Bottle taken down. Max is next on the chopping block. Will be able to get out of there with a really good... Whoa, but not actually, as it actually will be Bigetron Alpha getting baited out and in the top side. Once again, Nino will be able to bully Beatrix out of that lane, but Alter Ego Esports is going to be able to take the neutral objective with the space that they initially bought for themselves.
Bad decision making from the side of BTR. They know that their composition was not made for the first 2 minutes of the game, but they still took the fight. This will set them back a lot. A 1.3k gold lead. Udil is going to be able to get this wave shoved up every single time without that kill pressure. And Alter Ego, they might just have gone the game with that play, Arashi. If they keep on snowballing, using this lead, might be over.
Right, I mean, it's just a different look compared to the previous game where they seem to be playing a lot more patiently and waiting for that late game combo. In this game, maybe they were still affected by the momentum from the first game, but they really can't take these risky fights in the early game because Alter Ego would want that instead. And you can see, I think in the previous game, until they got to level like 6 or 7, Leo Murphy is essentially like immortal, right? He can take damage from so many people and stay alive. Not to mention, having Nino on Yuzong right now, they have a lot more chances to actually make these huge plays on those turtle fights.
Man, it's starting to feel like Bigetron Alpha are going back to their old identity, Arashi. It feels like the Bronze era Bigetron Alpha with this heavy late game stab, but Nino going in.
Nino going in and actually dealing quite a lot amount of damage, and he actually will be able to lifesteal his way out of that one. He goes in with the fatal lanes, will connect, and will he be able to get out? The answer is no, and that is going to be a pickoff for the side of Bigetron Alpha.
Storm, Black Dragon form, and the turtle already for Alter Ego. 2 turtles in the 5th minute of the game.
Yep, that's definitely not a fun place to be in for Yve. And honestly, oh, as we say that.
Yeah, Raging Sandstorm onto Key, forced to use that flicker to get away. And that is a huge resource spent for Atlas, honestly.
Huge. That's what you usually use to get that crazy engage. But they've actually swapped their lanes here, which is very interesting. But I get it. Khalid, he is ahead. He's the one who is going to be able to go for 2v1s. So they're playing for that top side with Pi, a winning lane.
Uh-oh, but it seems like Matt might be caught in a weird situation, but he is going to be there to back him up. But we'll see how far Leo Murphy can do, as he is going straight into the back lines, dealing quite a amount of damage onto Matt, but Matt will still be able to get away for now.
This is a scary part of going with an aggressive team comp and fighters against a Beatrix. That shotgun, man, that's a lot of damage, and it's something that Alter Ego needs to try and keep in consideration, because right now, they really can't ignore the potential damage coming in from Matt. And if they really want to play like this, they have to actually pick their fights really, really well.
They need to get the side lanes going here. Bigetron Alpha, they haven't been able to clear any of these side lane turrets, and that's what got them the map pressure in game number 1. Now Key, he's looking for a cheeky pick.
Uh-oh, will Sellyboy be actually baited into this one? The Fatal Links does connect, and so much damage onto him. Shutdown actually just gets secured, and it's going to be Sellyboy being punished there.
Luckily for Sellyboy, it's Key who takes the kill, so technically not a huge loss. It is a loss anyways, though, for Alter Ego. But it's time for you guys to check out MPL off game as well. Are you guys curious about what's happening in the lives of the pro players outside of the MPL? I am. Go check it out.
Yep. So you gotta check it out for sure. And honestly, I'm quite curious about the Dyra's pick and how well that will work out. But right now, another dive from Alter Ego.
Yeah, Matt actually will be forced to use that flicker and still manages to get away? What? I thought Leo Murphy would be able to get that, or even the Khalid, but luckily for the side of Bigetron Alpha, he still will be able to survive and still sitting at a positive 101 KDA.
As long as Alter Ego keep on converting these aggressive plays to objectives, they're going to be fine, man. A 2,000 gold lead already built up for them. Bigetron Alpha, they're going to have to pick up the pace of this game, because in this 8th minute, they won't be hitting that mid-game power spike like in game number 1. They're going to have to prolong the game maybe into the 10th minute of the game before they actually have the items to take the enemies on.
Well, fortunately for Matt in the previous fight, Pi's execute was down, so that could have actually saved his life. And honestly, for Alter Ego, they have to try and make something happen again. You know, the dives they are attempting is fine, but they need to stop getting picked up one by one, because Sellyboy getting taken out, giving a shutdown like that for no reason essentially, really isn't the way to go. Right, Alter Ego will want to use the objective to try and make something happen.
Oh my god, will he be using the Fatal Links once again onto the Leo Murphy? And the answer is yes. Leo Murphy does get picked off, but at what cost? The real manipulation gets popped off. Matt goes down, Raging Sandstorm to the backside. Will Sellyboy be able to survive this one with so much pressure onto him? But he will actually be forced to use that flicker to get out of there. And it is going to be, what, a 2-for-1 trade? But it might be more here. Pi is the next one on the chopping block. It is the next one to fall, as a killing spree has been secured by the side of Max. But Max is in a really tough situation here with only a sliver of health left. No, will he be able to get out? The answer is no. And that will be another pickup for the side of Alter Ego Esports.
Bigetron Alpha, they were able to get a 3-for-2 trade. That's worth it for them. Again, all they need to do is prolong the game for what? For this, exactly, the items, Arashi.
Right, Bottle right now has a bit more physical damage to work with, understanding that he is going to be the target of a lot of dives with the physical damage defense boots, as well as, you know, building in for another physical damage item and getting the Enchanted Talisman just to make sure that he has the mana and the cooldown reduction as well. For Matt though, with the BOD and the Demon Hunter Sword, he is steadily being able to do a lot of damage, but in the late game, he has to make sure that his ulti is just on point, hitting multiple people, otherwise he's not using his full potential on the hero.
2 levels ahead, by the way. Sellyboy is 2 levels ahead of Max. Bigetron Alpha, they're still 2,000 gold behind, so they still need to be very, very careful. I feel like they just need to let this go. Give it to Alter Ego, wait for those power spikes to develop even more, and look for a fight maybe in the 11th to the 12th minute mark here. They were able to buy themselves a lot of time with those 2 kills, actually 3 kills picked up, but I don't think that time equivalent to a fight.
My god, another Fatal Link connected onto Leo Murphy, but this time, Leo Murphy survives. He is actually at a little bit of health right now, but the real manipulation gets cancelled and will not be able to do the amount of damage. But look at Nino! Nino being able to take a kill off the board, and that is going to be very good. Buying so much time, buying a little bit more pressure for the side of Alter Ego Esports to take this Lord.
once again, they take a fight that they're not supposed to. Yeah, they were opening up the map. Yes, they want to contest for this Lord, but it's not the right time, man.
Blue team has slain the Lord.
Well, Lord will be taken by Alter Ego right now, and they have yet another opportunity to try and break the base early on the game. If they actually let the waves push in slowly, I think Bottle has a chance to clear out the waves. So I think they will go for a big dive before the Lord actually connects with the turrets. I think that is for sure the play to go for. And honestly, I just think that they can just be a bit more proactive, right? Because they seem to be almost reactive in a sense. They are going for the objectives, but they're not forcing Bigetron Alpha into anything too crazy.
I think what they're doing is really smart here from Alter Ego, right? They haven't been proactive because they are up against an Atlas. They are up against so much punishment if they do play proactively here. So Max doesn't even get the orange buff with his Retribution. It's Boy picking it up. That might just be another lead. I know. Max actually gets it with the Retribution, but now the purple buff is going to be contested by Boy.
Raging Sandstorm does get popped off here onto Repo, but Repo will actually still be able to dash away out of that one. Still nothing too fancy from the side of Alter Ego Esports just yet, as the Lord is marching there in the bottom side. The tower in the mid side is going to be the target, though will be taken away as no inhibitor turrets goes down per se. So Bigetron Alpha, they were still able to defend from this one from the side of Alter Ego.
They have a lot of high ground, so yeah, this defense is going to be relatively easy, but if Alter Ego keep on scaling and keep on snowballing at this pace, it might just be an 8,000 gold lead by the next fight. And look at the damage that Boy is able to do. Remember, Key, that was with the Athena proc, and he dealt that much. Without the Athena, I think that's half HP gone.
Yep, that could be it for sure. So Boy is for sure one of the main carries, but honestly, if they focus too much on Boy, Udil, Leo Murphy, and Nino, everyone can do a very fair amount of damage. I think as long as Bigetron Alpha can protect their main carries, right, their backline, Bottle and Matt, I think the fight still goes to them in the late game. If the fight ends very fast, Alter Ego has the advantage. When the fight gets drawn out and the DPS can be relevant, Bigetron Alpha will have this game. They are scaling very, very well.
Well, take a look at that, though. There's a fun fact presented to you by Grab. Max is the second most... He has the second most unique heroes picked in the jungle. The first being Sans, but Sans played two roles, right? He played in the mid lane and the jungle, so technically as a pure jungle player, Max has had the most amount of heroes, most amount of unique heroes picked up. That's an interesting fact. That's a lot. That's 13.
How many were there? 12? 13. That's huge.
That is huge. And right now for the player gold, Nino is still on top there. But of course, he doesn't scale as well as a marksman because he is on that Yuzong. And Alter Ego right now are looking for situations, for opportunities to try and punish Bigetron Alpha. But they're not really getting the opportunity. So Bigetron Alpha needs to make sure that whoever face checks the bushes is someone durable. Otherwise, this could spell disaster for them.
To be honest, I'm a little bit worried for Alter Ego Esports. I mean, we're already hitting the 13, almost 14-minute mark. And when it goes into the late game, who will be able to carry them in terms of damage, right? Because Bigetron Alpha, they do have Matt on the Beatrix, and Alter Ego Esports, they put a lot of emphasis onto Nino, but Nino is playing Yuzong, so how far can that work?
Well, they're going to have to rely on Lilia to dish out most of the damage if it does go all the way to like 15, 20 minutes, but as of right now, the real-time win probability, it's 66% for Alter Ego, presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A535G. They have a big chance of just securing the game with this enhanced Lord. And Bigetron Alpha, look at him. They're not even going to be able to contest this. That's Phantom Execution pop before the fight even starts in the Lord.
Yeah, huge resource wasted.
With the fighter advantage, though, you can see that Alter Ego is zoning as well as possible, but he actually makes a big play there.
Oh my god, the Flicker chain link does connect here, but how much of an impact? I mean, no follow-up whatsoever, as actually the members from Alter Ego Esports, they're going to be able to zone away the members from Bigetron Alpha in the back line. But of course, Bigetron, he here gets punished, will be taken down first. And it is going to be one member down plus Enhance the Lord. So already looking good for the side of Alter Ego Esports in terms of their next siege into that base.
3 turrets still up, all 3 lanes for Alter Ego. This is a disaster. Bigetron Alpha, they, again, shouldn't have gone for the contest onto the Lord. It's a desperate attempt, and guess what? They didn't get the steal. It was only Key who jumped in, and this is the free Enhanced Lord without them getting any trades on the board. It's going to be even harder for them to defend this one without that pressure. I feel like it might be 2 base turrets taken down.
We'll see. I mean, Key's already up. We'll see how much impact he can have. He just needs to land a really good moment, I feel, on the side of Alter Ego Esports. But you're right, one inhibitor turret does get popped off. We'll see if another one falls, as it is going to be Nino with the Black Dragon form. Will be able to zone out all 5 members from the side of Bigetron Alpha away.
Wow.
But not more from Alter Ego Esports. They prefer to wait. They prefer to play the discipline game, and they will actually be retreating.
Well, they retreat right now, but if you look at the levels, Bigetron Alpha is catching up because for the most part,
Oh,
the
no.
majority of the members of Alter Ego.
Uh-oh. Yeah, the real world manipulation gets popped off. Leo Murphy almost gets caught off, but again, another 2 ultimates just burnt and wasted there from Key as well as Bottle before something that might be brewing. I mean, this feels like the calm before the storm, as Selly Boy is looking for their target here. Black Dragon form has been opened up, will be zoning the members
Whoa.
once again, but this time, Nino is actually recipient to so much damage. He will be forced to retreat for now, and another failed attempt from the side of Alter Ego Esports to do anything with the lead that they already have built from the early game.
Well, you know, they did get that second base turret down, and it is in the mid lane, so that's a lot of pressure. Guess what? On the bottom side of the map, Arashi, this is all set up for that enhanced lord. They might just wait for the evolved lord even, and with this dive composition, it actually favors them. With the evolved lord damage reduction, with the buff that it is going to be able to give to all the Alter Ego members, they're going to be able to dive this composition even inside of the base.
Yep, I think that will be exactly what they're going to go for. And that was a very risky move by Nino, but as you mentioned, Mirko, they get a base turret out of it, so can you really call it like a waste? It's actually
If Nino
pretty okay.
got caught off, it would have been a waste.
That
I
would have
think
been
it still would have been worth it,
Really?
honestly. It's a base turret, right? Nino can respawn, the base turret will never respawn.
True.
True.
But at the same time, though, they already actually scaled pretty far. But Matt now will be the target for
Yeah,
Boy.
Selly Boy goes in very aggressively, but once again, there isn't too much of a commitment from the side of Alter Ego Esports. I think they really want to play it safely, understanding that the Lord is going to be spawning soon, so they don't want to make too much of a mistake. And obviously, they do want to be able to capitalize over being able to get a pick-off onto the members of Bigetron Alpha, but unfortunately, that might not be the case yet.
This is great. They're looking for a trade, and they got the turret up top. Finally, they're able to get a turret in this game. They're not utilizing the Diroth properly, I feel like, but there's a fight.
Oh!
Yeah, a fight does brew here as the Raging Sandstorm gets popped off. So much is happening right now, as a member will be using that pop-off onto that Immortal, but unfortunately, Leo Murphy as well as Pi goes down first. The real weapon manipulation comes into clutch as another member goes down, but unfortunately, it is actually going to be Matt.
What?
A double kill has been secured as Telly Boy is the next to fall, and Bigetron Alpha 1-3 trade favoring Bigetron.
This is what we said, Arashi. The trade's happening. They get to that power spike finally here in the 18th minute of the game. Remember what we said during the Enhanced Lord. If they aren't able to end the game in that 15th minute, Bigetron Alpha will get their power spikes. You saw Bottle was extremely tanky, dished out a lot of damage, and this might just be the Lord taken away by BTR. It's evolved.
This is huge. He goes in, looks for something right now as the Fatal Links will connect onto Udil as well as Nino being able to bait him down. He gets popped up, but at what cost, right? He's able to get that Lord. That's exactly what they were trying to do. Bigetron Alpha once again still staying relevant in the game.
Well played, man. BTR key in that team fight. He knows that it's fine. I'll just die for the team. They pick up the Evolved Lord, and there you go. A 1-for-1 trade. A kill on the Roamer for an Evolved Lord.
Right now, though, you do see that Bigetron Alpha will have to wait 18 seconds for Key to come up on the map. So without a front line, can they actually teamfight effectively? Repo is on a Direwolf that scales very well with items as well. So right now, Bigetron has options, right? They can go for some kind of split push going on, some kind of pick-off strategy, or they can just group up with the Lord, but they do go aggressively in the bottom side.
Oh my god, Nino actually forces to get that Black Dragon form out of the way. So a really huge resource actually wasted by Alter Ego Esports being able to be baited out by Bigetron Alpha, and this is huge stuff. Their siege might actually just work. This might be the turnaround that Bigetron Alpha has needed all along.
This is what we mentioned in the draft. Alter Ego with this full dive composition, they do not have a good siege. They will not be able to handle that high ground potential, especially coming from BTR. They have the Yves and also the Beatrix. These are the two best high ground heroes in this current meta. And look, they're able to siege down the turrets so easily. It's almost even. Alter Ego had such a huge lead, 8 turrets to what? 1? And now it's 8-6.
And now with both teams approaching their full power spikes, their full 6 item builds, I think it's going to come down to the execution. We saw earlier that Nino single-handedly can take Matt out of those fights, and he is itemizing defensively, but towards magic damage, because he was worried about Sally Boy diving in the back. So I think Alter Ego, they need to make sure that Sally Boy and Nino, they go for different targets. Because if they both go for Matt, Bottle is going to do a lot of damage. And if they both go for Bottle, Matt will do a lot of damage. So they need to make sure that they allocate the amount of burst and damage they have to different members of Bigetron as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, tough situation
Oh, he got it!
for
Oh!
Bigetron. But what? Did he? Oh my god! Matt was able to steal that buff away from Alter Ego Esports. I thought most probably Alter Ego Esports would have gotten that, but wow, insane snipe coming in from Matt.
It's purple Matt.
Purple Matt.
Purple Matt. You know, it takes the purple buff. It doesn't even feel like it was, you know, Alter Ego, they didn't even want to take it. Sally Boy didn't use the Retribution, even though the Lord will be spawning out of that cooldown. So no worries, but the real-time win probability, once again, presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A535G. You can already see it shifting little by little. It was a 66% for Alter Ego earlier when we did see this asset come up, but now it's down to only a 54%, Rashi.
Only 54% because, again, they are better in the late game. They have advantages in range as well as DPS. So Alter Ego, how they approach this fight will be critical. If they can get a messy fight coming from multiple directions, making sure that Key can't combo multiple people at the same time, Bigetron Alpha, you know, they might struggle to actually win that kind of fight. But right now, they have the upper hand. They're going in deep.
This is scary. Key already going in here. The middle lane connects onto only one member, as it is going to be a very clutch Winter Truncheon from the side of Sally Boy. But unfortunately, on the other side of the map, Pi as well as Uriel goes down. And the question is, who will be next? For the moment, Bigetron Alpha still standing with 5 members. They will be able to take it, supposedly, because of the number advantage. But it doesn't seem they are committing too much onto this. But we'll see what happens here, as Leo Murphy here is going to be zoned away by the members of Bigetron Alpha, will be actually baited as well. But unfortunately, the members of Alter Ego Esports at this moment, it doesn't seem like they can do anything.
Nino needs to wait for the Black Dragon form to be up again if they do really want to contest this. If not, they should just let it go. But the thing is, if they let it go, remember the siege potential, Rashi. This is a Yeve and a Beatrix. It's a free Lord. Alter Ego will have to defend against an evolved 22-minute Lord, a Beatrix with full items, and a Yeve with full items. They're up against an Atlas as well, so they can't really dive.
Yep, and they don't have any high ground of themselves to actually, like, you know, to speak of. So this is a very difficult spot. Although, again, if they can actually use the fact that the Bigetron is going to play around the Lord to try and approach the fight differently and maybe surprise Bigetron, they do still have a chance here, but they have to make sure that they come in at the same time, because earlier, even though all the utility is used by Key onto Alter Ego, there was no trade back.
Oh my god, but the Fatal Lines connects onto the members of Alter Ego Esports right now, and so much has been done. Nino, what can he do in a 5v1 situation? It turns out a lot, as members coming in from Bigetron Alpha, Matt is actually taken down first, and it seems like Bigetron Alpha will be able to get Dino off the board. Nino still able to escape right now, but that is it. The base will be the target for the side of Bigetron Alpha.
A comeback victory for Bigetron Alpha. The bald buff shines once again. We see the players screaming out. And man, a 2-0 victory against Alter Ego. The rivals here in MPL ID. That was a beautiful, beautiful mid to late game performance by BTR, but there are a lot of mistakes in that early game that they need to flatten out.
For sure, man, but the mid game towards that late game, Bigetron was just playing it smart, and finally, we're seeing hints